Good morning. Hello, good morning from Vancouver. Nice to see you. And welcome to the month of the Earth Pig. I'm happy to be here with you. Lots to talk about. Okay, let me see. There's the comments. Okay, great. Oh, hi, Paula. That was so fast. Nice to see you, or nice to be here with you. If you're just joining me, say hi. Hi, Rini. Hi, Claudia. Hello, everybody. So nice to be here with you. Hello, Aman. Nice to see you. Carol. Yeah, nice to see you. Good morning. Yeah. Oh, how sweet, Linda, Shelley, Marie. Nice. Oh, cool. I miss you guys. Luckily, travel's opening up, and we'll probably see some people together, in person next year. That'll be great. Looking forward to that. All right, so without much further ado, I'm going to get started here because I have lots to share with you. There's so much going on. It's such an important time in our lives, right? And so the quote I want to start with is, it is with our minds we create the world, right? It is with our minds we create the world. And that's such an important thing, particularly now as we're going into New Year's predictions and all these different things, because next year is a big energy. Water Tiger is a big energy, as if Metal Ox wasn't a big energy in last year. We're in 3 really, really big years. And so it's very easy to get caught up into the fear of that and into the anxiety. But the lesson here and the opportunity is to see how with our minds we influence and work with this matrix. So hello and welcome everybody. If you've not met me, and many of you here have, but those of you who watch this later have not, I'm Marlyna. I've been doing metaphysics full-time for nearly 30 years now. And I'm someone who's always known and felt energy, but initially I didn't understand it. I didn't trust it. I was raised in a really Christian home. But I knew that there was this matrix out there and that somehow we interacted with it. And that knowledge, maybe it was past life knowledge too, who knows, right? Because I would get visions and I would have different things. And I will share more of that as I do teachings moving forward. But in the early 90s, I learned in Chinese metaphysics how there is this concept of heaven, earth, and man, and that the 3 together create our destiny. So heaven destiny is the energy, and this is very general, right? But is the energy of the blueprint in this lifetime that we've chosen to come in with. And earth energy is where we live, and human energy is actually what we do, our consciousness, our thoughts and actions. And they all interact together at a 33% way each to create our destiny, if you will. But the biggest thing that we can do is actually lift, money. Many of you, we pursue money, but that's not what makes you happy. What makes you happy is inner peace. And so it's a combination of yin and yang. So I knew about energy, and I just want to talk about this a little bit because it's really important here. I knew energy. I didn't understand it. I wanted to study it. And I also knew that I don't believe that there's such a thing as negative energy, but I do think there's such a thing as weak energy. And some people mean to do well, but they don't have the energy to do well. So they disappoint us. They make us feel disappointed, let down, abandoned, or different things. And for the longest time, I would project out there that was the reason I felt unhappy. But then at a certain point, I actually realized this heaven, earth, and man thing, that I chose the blueprint that I came in with. I chose the parents. And I saw everything as a vibration that I could work with to lift my energy. I saw lift my energy and ascend. And that's the really exciting thing about the times that we're in right now, is because the portals, if you will, or the astrology are so big that never before has there been an opportunity to truly transform your life. And by transforming your life, by raising your energy, your whole law of attraction changes and it becomes better and bigger. So real manifestation is a combination of improving yourself along with the Feng Shui and using time and all these things, right? And so it's understanding yang and yin. Yang is action, but yin is inner reflection, right? And so I teach this now in all my courses, that how important it is to incorporate your own inner work and to see everything out there as what is it teaching you, and to bring those two together. Because just continually doing activations for the sake, actually you guys will find if you're following some of the activations that I put out, that it stirred up some event, like you might have had a body ache or an illness or different things. So the actual purpose behind them is to bring up what needs to be looked at and transformed. So the key here is to remember that we all have choice, right? And by raising our personal vibrations, we work with that and create a different world, right? And that's what we're here. We have the power of choice. Are you victim or savior? Powerless or empowered? And that's why I talk to you every month, because I want to create a community of supporting one another so that we can be empowered and lift the vibration and change things. So we're in really big times. What's going on, right? So for many centuries, we've been in the age of Pisces, and now we're in the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is self-empowerment, right? And so what is self-empowerment? It's actually owning your strengths, owning your abilities, and then using them and becoming good at that, instead of thinking it's somebody else's responsibility to change your life. That's the age we're coming into. But the steps through that is to actually work through, it's not somebody else's job, right? Like, how do we do this, right? And so what I love about astrology is every month there are energies, if you will, that are vibrations that vibrate with us in certain ways. And so we can see, is this a month, how the best activities are. And I always use the analogy of a garden. In a garden, we plant in spring and the plant grows. Is that luck? No. It's just the energy of using the time. In the winter, the plant dies. Is that bad luck? No. That's the energy of the times. And we, in the last 2-3 years, have been in energy. We could say it's bad luck, but it's not. But with the pig year, and then the rat year, and with it now we're in the ox year, these years of water have been 0 degrees, winter, starting over. And it's been very difficult, and we're not through the woods yet. Next year is another year as well that's going to bring up, again, the testing of what do you choose in your life? Are you part of the change, or are you part of the problem? So as we enter into the pig month, yesterday was a new moon, a very powerful new moon, and we're heading now into the eclipse on November 19th, like into eclipse season. So again, powerful energies. But winter is always kind of dark. The water relates to fear, okay? And so how you work with that could be like, it's perfect for inner contemplation, because when we keep our emotions stuck inside ourselves, they stay dark. But if we can bring them out to the light and to the surface, and you could do this through breath work or through meditation or through different types of practices that do transformation, when we bring it to the light, we have the opportunity to release them, okay? And so in December, Jupiter is going to go into Pisces, and actually this month as well, the pig and the tiger are friends. And the pig this month is pulling in the energy of next year. So the energy of next year is already officially starting. Now in December, because Jupiter is going into Pisces, joining Neptune, what's going to happen at the end of the December 28th onwards for the next few months is the ability to see clearly will be less. So for those on a spiritual path, in a way that's good, because of the ability to go in and look inwards will be higher. But we're all going to be a little bit dealing with, is this what I really want? Who am I? What's the problem? Blaming, you know? And so it's a really good time to actually still, for the next couple of months, write down your goals, write down who you are, write down what you want to manifest, so that you can navigate through the illusions, if you will, of next year. All right. And so I'm going to be talking about that more in my upcoming classes. I'm going to share with you the dates of that in a minute. All right. So water season begins, you know, and the dog month and metal season is behind us. The last month, dog month, was it intense for you? It was certainly intense for me. Big dreams, the past coming up, issues to deal with, which was great because the dog is a graveyard month and the ox is what we call also a graveyard year. So for those that are doing the work, and see, here's the thing, the more you do the inner work, the more the outer world reflects back to you possibilities, right? It's not just, it's yin and yang. Yang is the feng shui and the activations and the working actions. Yin is the inner work. And there's a saying, fertility occurs when yang and yin are in balance. If you're too yin, doing too much inner work, you're going to struggle with money and perhaps depression. If you're too yang, you probably have anxiety, you know, and feel aggressive. So it's a combination of both. And so hence with that, last month was really exciting. I had my first full moon circle, which is a free workshop that I'm offering, and that you will get, we'll put up the link here. I believe that you can sign up for that, but it's also going to come out in the newsletter where I do some teaching. And then we did a beautiful meditation on forgiveness. And thank you for all the feedback I got from many of you who attended. There was nearly 100 of you there in the workshop. That because we have to release the feelings that we're feeling in order to move forward. So I'm really now incorporating into my practice yin and yang and teachings. Okay, so the water is really strong, right? And what is water? Water is associated. So will we maybe see a resurgence of COVID coming back? Perhaps, because winter is always kind of cold and flu season. Is it going to bring up more fear? Perhaps. It also really depends on what element it is to you, and we'll talk about that. But the fire is weak. And for those of you that are intuitive and feel things, you're feeling the uncertainty. I'm seeing it. People are quitting their jobs. People are leaving relationships. People are sick and in the hospitals. Lots of things coming up for people to deal with, and it's easy to get into fear. And so this is where the belief of you're a soul here as a body learning lessons. We're in Earth School. We're in Earth School, and this is actually all an opportunity. And so I love Einstein saying, if you see the world as friendly, it is, because your vibration will bring that in. If you see the world as not friendly, it is. I remember years ago, a Chinese teacher actually said to me, when you walk down the street, you can tell how your vibration is by how people are reacting to you as you walk by them. Are they smiling? You know, are you smiling? And it was like, you know, often I'll feel darker inside than the world is reflecting to me. And thank goodness for that, because then I'm like, okay, you know, I can trust how that it's not as bad as I think, right? But I work with this consciously every day. I set an intention every morning for what I'm grateful. I do my gratitudes, and then I set an intention. And my intention might be today is to be kind. My intention might be today is to see the light in all. My intention might be today, let me see in another the opportunity to lift myself and them, right? It's never about let me make more money. That all to me is a byproduct of the whole thing, right? Yes, I do the feng shui and I use the stars and I use all the stuff. Yeah, I do all that, and we'll talk about that. But I so see now that by doing the inner work and the intentions, that the love in my life grows, and the people in my life who support me grow, and my children and my family is bigger, right? It's huge. So I also want to share with you too, a couple like I forget. I'm in the midst of changing my website to a new platform so that I can handle classes on it. But because of that, the logins and the way you register for things has changed, and it's creating some confusion and some issues for us as well. And so please bear with us as we go through this process. And certainly within the next couple of weeks, we'll have this resolved, and we'll send you all. We're switching people from the old system to the new system, which means your passwords might not work and whatnot. And so I'm really excited about it. And it's very interesting. My own issues, like, so in the workshop that I did in the moon thing, where I was talking about what issues do you have that are buried that prevent you from having success? And I have an old issue of I have to do everything myself, that I'm alone, right? Well, as long as I believe that subconsciously, guess what? That's going to get reflected. But I absolutely know I'm not alone. I have great people working for me, and I have great things happening for me, but it's easy to see the part that's not working, right? And I have to remind myself, oh, there's that old belief, right? And so what do you believe you can get support? Like, so that's the stuff that's coming up for many of us. And that's actually the opportunity in the next 3 months, is to continue to working through that. Yeah, thanks, Lois. We will get back to you. Yes. When you register, yes, you have to re-register. We're working on it, so thank you so much. So transformation is the key that's happening right now, okay? And so to look at that, there's solar flares happening, right? There's all kinds of exciting things. And so intense month, and the energies are intense as well. Transformation. November is the month where we are all supported with meaningful and deep transformation, especially in your day-to-day life. So if that's there as an opportunity, what can you do differently, right? So change your daily routine, right? Decide what you want, and then decide what you need to do to work through that. Because if you don't decide in the next 3 months and take steps, particularly this month, I'm not sure if next year you can do it. It'll be harder. The energies of next year are harder to make changes than they are this year, okay? So look to water as a catalyst for change. Look to clarity, right? Work through your fears, right? Yes. Is it going to be a peaceful time the next few months? I don't think so. I think the emotions will be dark. I think there will be, even into the next year, I think there'll be more addiction. We need to support people more who are suffering. There are actually more deaths here in the province that I live in from drug overdoses than there have been from COVID, right? And yet, for some reason, we don't have the empathy and kindness towards people that suffer with mental illness and addictions, right? As if they could change that. And so this is the time where we need to actually reach out and have empathy and compassion and support for the family members and different people dealing with that. So in metaphysics, right, it's like, are you the change? And then create the change, right? But expect in November something out of the blue and the unexpected to happen. There's inner work to do. You can call on the gods in your meditations and whatnot to support you, because the energy is there to support you. We are in a period where the opportunity to change and lift your vibrations is really high. That's what the whole year is about, so use it. All spiritual and metaphysical people are talking about it. Ascension, right? Lots of issues going on, because you can't change unless you look at the issues. Work, security issues, family issues, inner self-worth, right? And listen, it's all good. Lean into it. Don't judge it. This too shall pass, right? This too shall pass. So the energy of this year has been about releasing, seeing what needs to go, right? What emotions, right? How do you do this? And here's the thing. Can you join with your heart still with others while you're going through that process? Or are you separating? Because when you choose to separate, you're not just separating from that person, you are separating from energy. This is one that we're all working through. When we separate, we're actually saying, no, I don't want those blessings, or I don't want that. It's like, how do you connect to energy but say no to and have boundaries about what doesn't serve you? And I think part of that is not judging everything that comes to you as good or bad, right? So your awareness, your path, and your intensity are needed. Yeah. So there's a partial solar eclipse coming on the 19th, and there'll be a full moon meditation that night with special guest Yuko doing a sound meditation for us, so live on Zoom, right? So there'll be a 20 to 30 minute sound meditation happening as well in the sound meditation to help releasing. All right. So let's look at now the individual day masters and astrology signs as to what's going on, right? And so if you are a wood day master, so part of this you need to know your chart, and so you can get a copy of your chart on my website, but each month brings different opportunities or vibrations, if you will, to each sign, right? And connections. And so even if it's a positive connection, if you're not ready to say yes, it's going to create fear, right? Like, and so part of it is like, when you understand, it's like, I did gardening for years, love gardening, and I work also with the cycles of the moon and saw huge differences, well, huge, but bigger yields in how I planted things by doing that. And so now I live my own life that way too. New moons for setting new intentions, full moons for looking within what needs to be done, right? And working and creating ritual. And I'm going to talk about ritual in the full moon workshop. Anyways, if you are a wood day master, right? So earth pig to you is wealth and resource, because in the pig is water, right? And then there's also a friend element. So those of you that know about and have studied, right? It's like, yes, there's wealth on top, but it comes with competition, right? Or it comes with, so collaborate, go find people. So that might mean sharing how you make money, right? If you're self-employed. Yes, there are good stars as well. It's a good month to do collaboration. And wealth opportunities, because there's resource there, will come from using your brain, right? Being an expert, special knowledge. Okay, so these are just mini insights. I'm getting booked now for all the readings for next year. And so send us an email if you're wanting to book that for next year, because true insight is like a whole chart is more, you're not just a day master, and you're not just an animal sign. You're 4 animal signs. There's the year, the month, the day, and the hour. And they interact together to tell a story. So I cannot hear in one little talk say, oh, you need some water, or this is about wealth. Those of you that know, it depends on if you're strong or weak, and it depends on more. So please certainly read that into this. But in general, I'm giving you some generalities here, because this is lots of fun, right? If you are a fire day master, earth to you is output, right? And water to you is called the influence element. So, and you'll be creative, or your children for women, your children might be a focus, but you could be seen this month for your ideas, right? And this may get you noticed, right? So this could be good for a career. The pig also for, I believe, yang fire, I'm not sure if it's both, is your nobleman. Right? So there's support there. But anytime we see the resource element as well, that's considered a nobleman element as well. So there's help there for you. And so the help means improve your systems, like do better, right? Like, that's all there for you to use. Earth day masters, it's earth element on top, and then water and wood below. So primarily your friend element is on top. So again, collaboration. Now, collaboration or distraction. Are you hanging out with lots of people and not making money, or are you strategically using what's happening? So the Chinese were very, very good at being strategic and how to use energies. Westerners, and I'm not sure if this is because of our Christian thinking or whatnot, it's kind of like my mom certainly, who raised me, was felt that she had no control over her life, that everything somehow was at the whim of God. I don't believe that. That's not what my studies teach me. I believe we co-create our destiny, right? Like, it's like, and if she'd thought deeper of it, she probably would have known that as well. But there wasn't that help for her. She grew up in the war, and life was hard for her, and she developed a mentality that she never was able to quite get out of it, and she was very apprehensive. Anyways, earth element. Good month to brainstorm with others, connect, think about how you'd like to earn money in the future together, right? Like, and then, because next year for you as well is water on top, right? There's lots of wealth element there for you. And because there's not a lot of earth to support you next year, it might be good in the next few months to find somebody that you could work with next year to harness in all that money, particularly if you are a weekday master, right? Because a weekday master cannot, if there's a lot of wealth element, it might mean you're just really busy and not actually able to save a lot of the money. Anyways, Earth, get feedback from your friends. Particularly if you know that you're a weekday master, this is a really good month to start a long-term collaboration, right? And if you're a strong day master, do a short-term collaboration. Metal day master. Earth to you is resource, and water to you is output, and in there is wood, right? Wood and growth. So those of you that know, for metal day masters, particularly if you're strong, Pig month is an excellent month to start a new venture that will earn you money in the years to come or in the months to come, because the element of wood is in what we call in growth. So think about how you'd start a long-term project, do sales, right? And in general should be a really good month for you. But here's the thing too. Wealth element doesn't mean you're just going to get money and get to sit on it and have fun. No, it means you're working. Anytime we see the wealth element in Chinese astrology, it means you're working and you're busy. So you're going to suffer if you don't manage your time. You're going to suffer if you're expecting to relax. So one of my teachers, one of my favorite sayings was, we suffer when we're not in alignment with our destiny. But what that actually just means is, it's raining, use an umbrella, right? So this is wealth, strong wealth opportunities for metal this month. Go out and use them, be busy, but take care of your health, because if you don't, you might get tired and be run down. Water day master. Okay, so companion element in the pig, and influence element on top. It's a bit tricky here though if you're yang or yin water, because yin, water, just a minute, I'm having a brain fart here. Earth pig. And yin earth to yang water doesn't really do anything. It's actually to both elements. The yin earth on top might be causing a little bit of confusion, but the companion element below is great if you're a weak day master, but it's not so great if you're a strong day master. Again, do you know how to collaborate and work with others? Don't give away the farm, right? Like, make it a short-term contract. I work with Rob Wealth all the time, right? And so it really sounds like a terrible word, somebody's taking your money. No, it's another way of making money. So instead of all the money coming to one person, it means you share. So ultimately you could actually make more, right? It depends on how you use it. If you are a weekday master for the water elements, born in summer, this is a great month for you to actually go out there and get help, join a team, and get the support, right? But if you're a strong day master, born in November, December, or January, this is likely a better month for you to work on, to be your own leader, right? To be on your own and be strategic in maintaining relationships and be pleasing. What happens in a month that's strong Rob Wealth for anybody, like those of you that understand that, the tendency, now all of a sudden it's kind of like the universe has brought more of your element around. And so if you're not pleasing, the universe is going to give the energy to the other person. But if you're strategic, that's why they call it the leader profile, right? If you're strategic and consciously use that, you can attract people to yourself, right? So that's an important part of this. All right, let's just look at the animals. And this is like really, really fluffy, guys. I mean, I talk a little bit about some of the things, but it's impossible to talk about each animal on its own without looking at it at the whole chart, okay? But what I do like to look at is the interactions and combinations, and I'll look at the stars here with you as well, okay? So primarily here, this is to the year pillar, but if you're knowing how to look at a whole chart, let's look at that, okay? So the pig, right? The pig in the pig month is what we call a self-punishment. And so one of the ways that I like to talk about that is, if you have problems this month, you caused them. So there's a tendency you might be careless. There's a tendency that and it might cost you. You know how some months we get away with it? That would be a combination month. But if in a month where you don't get away with it, it's like you make an impulsive decision and it just doesn't support you. I want you to, if you know how to read a chart and you know how to read which 10 God the elements are to you, you can actually figure out where the self-penalty might bother you, right? But anyways, minimum Double check your work. Take time to be thorough. The self-punishment might bring up issues of doubt, and this can cause stagnation, meaning then you don't act, right? And at the bottom of all of it, I think one of the issues of the pig is self-love, doubt, insecurities. And so this could be coming up for you. How do you deal with that? Discipline, right? Discipline. What do you need to do to be better? What exercise or foods, like, self-love isn't just about, oh, I'm going to go have a nice dinner. Self-love is how do you make yourself better, right? So this is a month to stick to your goals, right? Think of it even as a test a bit. And anyways, hang in there. Next year, the tiger is your best friend, even though it's a bit of a tricky combination with the combination and destruction, and more of that in my annual workshops coming up. But yeah, there's the pig. The rat also has what we call kind of a combination to the pig because they're both water, all right? So opportunities will come to you, right? Do you say yes or do you have fear, right? And so are you ready to take an opportunity or do you have excuses, right? Smooth sailing month overall. Your efforts and work will be recognized, and if you've been putting in the effort this month, you will get seen and recognized. People will be helpful to you. The ox, as well, is a combination to the pig by the seasonal combination. It's a little bit less tenuous, yes, but it still is considered a combination. And so there are opportunities out there, and that probably will result in a heavier workload and more stress. So one of the lessons for you is learning to say no and taking care of yourself, right? Like self-care. Don't be a martyr. Some people around you may not be able to keep up to their responsibilities, and this may put stress on you, which is a lesson, and that's going to let you down. So you're going to have to work through some of that this month with the stars. Be mindful and conscious and take care of yourself. Okay, this is the ox. Tiger and pig have a combination. They're very good friends. So if you know how to connect and network and have some things on your list that you want to get done and you need to meet people or get things happening, this is a good month to do it. However, it's what we call a combination destruction. So get it in writing. Be clear. There's a tendency for it not to turn out the way that you want. Now, for advanced students, how we look at that is, does the element actually transform in the chart? If it transforms, the destruction is not there. But when it doesn't transform, the tendency for it to not be a clear connection is there. However, there are possibilities out there. The overall stars in the month are good for you. So go out there and look for opportunities, but don't be naive, right? Do your due diligence and work with it, and all will be fine. Rabbit and pig also are good friends, right? So opportunities coming your way. However, this is like wood and wood. Are you going to say yes to what kind of opportunities? Are they opportunities for dinner? Or are they opportunities for work or opportunities to get ahead? There's a saying that the top 5 people you hang out with reflect your life. And I love that saying. It really made me think, because there's a real tendency before I started doing this work for me to complain. I complained about my husband. I complained particularly about my husband. And I would complain to other people, and I would complain about my kids, and I would complain. But I would complain to people who had no ability to solve the problem. And it made it bigger. And then they would complain to me about their lives. And I realized at one point I was hanging out with a lot of complainers, and I just didn't want to be that person. And so I had to start changing myself, and at some point realize, and I still love many of my old friends and all these things, but I had to ask myself, what are the qualities that I want in my life, and where can I go find them? And I started consciously making decisions to hang out with people. I value integrity, I value consciousness, I value hard work, I value compassion, and I look for those qualities in other people, right? And so, anyways, what do you say yes to, Rabbit, this month as the pig brings you opportunities? Dragon, you have good stars this month, okay? So look forward to a month of good fortune, right? And so good stars with good opportunities. People will want to hang out with you because you are feeling good. Snake. The pig month will shake things up for you. This is a clash month. This may be stressful. You might be worried about your job. Something might end. But here, you take charge of this. What in your life needs to end? Now, this might be a bad habit. Might be a good month to not drink or to eat less or to lose a little bit of weight or to exercise, right? You take control of this by ending something that needs ending. Start by giving your personal space a really good clean, right? So that your energy... But here's how energy works. If you change your vibration, you actually need to change your environment to a degree. Because if you don't change your environment, the energy that's sticky there will pull you back, right? So you might want to change how you sleep or your bed or different things, right? Like change things. And I'll talk a little bit about the Feng Shui in a minute. But, create change. Face your worries. Yeah. As my one teacher would say, when you see a chart where the aspects are confrontational, create your own confrontation, because you know that you know what you need to do, especially with a clash. You realize what part of your life might need work. Horse. Even though the pig is water and fire and water clash, the pig and the horse don't, because in the pig is yang water, and it actually has a combination to the horse. And so it's confrontational, but it can work for you, right? And so opportunities will come for you. The only thing preventing you from actually taking advantage of these opportunities, because it's going to create a change inside yourself, are your own internal doubts. So this is a good month to look and work through some of those, because there's some real opportunities out there for you. Build your network. You will find clients easily and customers for those of you in sales. Goat. The pig is, again, your friend too. So this year has been a challenging year. The ox has been a clash. So there's been changes, and probably a lot of you have been I know, well, COVID makes it easy to isolate. But the trick with isolating is are you still in your heart joining, or are you in your heart separating? So this is a good month to do some joining with people, to be the change, right? Like with other people, and to help connect and to do some of that. The goat is your friend. So wealth and career and relationships are favored this month for growth. So go out there, find it, right? And so it's a good month. If you're looking for a job, you should be able to find it. There's some opportunities coming for you. And then also, I know that the next 2 months after that might still be a bit challenging, particularly January. But this too shall pass. February is coming. And so create some strong connections with people that can support you. But you know, but unconditionally, in the sense of expecting nothing in return, right? Like that you give it because you genuinely want to give it. When we give because we want something back in return, it's not giving, right? It's not giving. It's not genuine. Monkey. Opportunities are out there, but you will have to go find them. Meaning this is like an average month for you. It's not like bad luck, but it's not good luck, right? It's not on your side. So this is a good month for self-care, reflection, and consciously choosing activities and people that bring you happiness. Winter months are often more melancholy for the monkey, perhaps even a little bit of depression. But by watching your addictive behaviors, sugar, Netflix, the type of things you do, if you do some exercise and some positive things, you should be fine. And just keep an eye on bring more fire into your life. So what does more fire mean? I mean, it could be as simple as being outside. You need some vitamin D for sure. And, and literally being outside. Fire, though, can be eat more soups, eat more long cooked food, Chinese medicine, do some fire. Rooster. 2 left here, okay? So overall, in general, a peaceful month for the rooster. Family life with some effort will be peaceful, meaning, right? Children should do well. However, there is a star there that you need to be aware of. People not being open and honest with you. It doesn't mean that they're going to cheat you, but that just means that they might have some motivations that they're not necessarily sharing with you. So just make sure you have good, clean communications with people around different things. If you put in the effort, though, in whatever you do, your efforts will get recognized. And health looks good this month. Dog. Did I start? Yeah, I did. There we go. So the dog. Dog has noble people on their side this month. Noble people. What does that mean? Bosses, family, people of influence can support you, right? Like they're there to help you. There's help out there. Watch your budget so you don't overspend, or consciously spend your money on something that'll improve your life and make you better, right? Yeah, so do things that'll make. A business coach asked me years ago if I wanted to take my life to the next level. Like say you want to earn 30% more money, or you want to lose 30% of your body weight or whatever, right? You want to take, what has to happen? What do you need to do? And so I realized for then I needed to actually hire some people in business in order to get ahead, because I literally couldn't do it all myself, right? And so, but then the barrier there is in order to hire more people, you need to make more money. So it was a bit of a catch-22 for a while, but it was like, okay, what needs to change? For you, the dog this month, it's like, okay, if there's noble people out there to help you, where do you need the help? Right? And go out there and ask and see if you can get it, right? There's opportunities for you there. So that takes us through the 12 animals. Thank you all for joining me here. Valeria, I'm going to do some Feng Shui here. And the Feng Shui now, like talking about how to use your house. So 33% of our destiny are influenced by our environment. What creates our environment? Well, the first thing actually that creates our environment is what we call forms. Like I can tell you all the good stars, and we use flying stars when I talk about this because flying stars are time-based and they're quick, right? But here's the thing, all those stars depend on what we call the forms. And I teach this in my school, right? As I teach people to become practitioners, but I also teach people not only to just be practitioners, I teach people how to use this to have a better life, right? Now, I ask the question in my classes often, if you had the choice of having perfect flying stars, but you're in a negative area of town, right? Or you have a house that doesn't have very good flying stars and you're in a park, which one is better? Well, the park. Because and here's one of the way to look at your environment. Is there energy outside? Are there animals? Are there people? Are there, let me just go, so I see your question. Yeah, I did talk about the tiger. You're going to have to go back. Combo tiger is, you'll feel good. Say yes. Yeah. Sorry, Carol, you're going to have to go back and listen to this when it comes back. So in the Feng Shui, the environment you're in is a huge determinant in the overall energy of the space. So is the garden lush? And there's a saying as well, 70% of the energy of any home is determined by location, right? And so we call that the forms. And so are there trees outside? Is there animal life? Are things growing? Those are important things. And so I can give you some things about the different areas. And yes, use flying stars. They're quick and fast. But overall, if you really want to make changes in your life, you might want to look at what is the neighborhood you live in and how lush is the energy of it there, and how vibrant. There's a reason downtowns, like living downtown is exciting, right? But it's lots of concrete. How stable is the money and the savings and the relationships of people who live downtown, right? Is the divorce rate higher there? Like what kind? Those are questions. Like I want you to start seeing energy, right? So it's like yes, maybe stable is boring. Maybe it is, like it's kind of like not so exciting. However, if you want to have more money or a relationship or things like that, you actually might want to move to an area that supports stability. And this is where working with our own self comes in too. It's like, well, why am I resistant to that, or those different things? And these are all the things that I teach, right? I bring together. Anyways, this month, the 5, the dreaded 5, the Emperor 5. So in flying stars, we divide the house into the 8 compass sectors and the center. And there's a number in each center, and every month they fly. Every year they fly, and they create charts. And this system has been around for at least 800 years, and it's amazingly accurate by compass direction and layout to see what the energy of a space is and how it interacts with a person. and we can do activations and we can work with that. But as those of you that are practitioners know, it doesn't always work for everybody because we have to factor in your own gua, and we have to factor in different things. And so I want you to take that into account, because as we move into the year of the tiger, and as we move into this, taking real responsibility for who we are and what we do becomes important. And I don't want this to just be about, oh, put lucky frogs in this corner, right? It's like, this is about creating real change in people's lives. And I'm going to be doing workshops coming up where I go more in depth with you on that, okay? And one will be on December 3rd, and I think the other one is January 22nd, right? And I'll talk more about them at the end. So all the stars factor in, right? We call everything stars. All energy in this world gets called stars. So the 5 this month, along with the annual 6, the 5 goes back to the center. So the 5 is the brightest star and the biggest star, but when it's not timely or has bad energy around it, it can really create a problem, right? And so the thing to actually ask yourself, if you, especially for those of you that are practitioners, this is a good month to meditate or use the center to work with the 5 a little bit, because it's home base and stable, to see what is the 5 asking you to transform in your life, okay? And so when you activate a palace, or if you activate a center, how do you activate a sector? By spending time in it, right? By spending time in it. So when I look at the annual predictions, each one is a, hi Adriana, each one is a, I look at it for the whole year as to what's at my front door, where's my desk, which windows do I open, you know, because all those types of things create an energy flow, right? So one of the things for those of you that know, if every month, just by activating your own gua is a way that you can improve your energy. So, you know, your gua sector is, this would be for students, right? Like, keep it clean. Is the energy there flowing, right? This month, the northeast sector has a beautiful combination with 9-8 in there. So that's a very good sector to spend time in. If you're working for yourself, bring in your laptop, do work. It's like happy events, make phone calls from there, you know, use the northeast sector. Do not do major renovations and activations there, like, unless I tell you to, but it's a great place to hang out with, right? The south is also a great combination with 9 and 1 there in a combo 10, right? And so that's a beautiful energy as well to use. Combo 10 can be a wealth energy, so you can use that. And the 4, you know, the rest, I'm going to actually say, depends on actually your own understanding of the stars. You know, like, I actually use all of them. The 7, which is by some said, oh, don't use it, but it's an aggressive star. And so those of you, the 3 can also be an aggressive star. And so by understanding, even though they're not timely, we can use them if somebody says, oh, I want to be aggressive, or I want to have, you know, things. I do, you know, so I'm just going to leave it at saying, I'm going to give you some activations too, but the primary sectors to spend time in, if you have some choices, are northeast and south for this month. Okay, so I have a couple activations for you, and then I'm going to tell you about the upcoming classes, okay, too. So on November, well, first of all, because the 5 is in the center and the pig pulls in the tiger, this month is a good month. You can get rid of your saltwater cure, for those of you that have saltwater cures, okay? And the day to do that is November 12th, right? And between 7 and 9 a.m., okay? November 12th, between 7 and 9 a.m., you can get rid of your saltwater cure if you have one. The only thing with that day, though, is the horse should not do it. If you have horse in your year animal, particularly, get someone else to do it, because there's a chance you could injure yourself or have a problem because it just clashes with you. That day is not to use for the horse. However, the other activations that I give you are just for everybody, whether your chart combines with it or not, because there's some positiveness in it for everybody. And the type of activations that I'm giving you are ones that I'm learning that activate not only just right now, but we're activating incoming fire for the following year and positive stars as well that they connect with. And so on November 12th, there's an activation that's good for future investments and multiplication, you will, but also for forgiveness as well, right? Like it's an interesting one. And there's 2 times that this is a little bit of a complicated activation, and this really will probably only be applicable to those of you that are consultants, because I'm hoping to get that I'm doing Zoom and PowerPoint at the same time as doing this, but I'm not there yet. So November 12th, 12:16 a.m. is the first choice, or 7:16 a.m. is the second choice. You can do one or the other. So the first thing is you put a water feature or water, so for me this is like a large Rubbermaid container with a pump that is actively moving the surface of the water. And so the water goes at south 1, okay? Now you can put the water in the night before and then wake up and turn it on at 12:16. Okay, you don't need to fill it up at that time unless you're up and doing it, right? But it's like the thing here is you turn the pump on at these times. Then, so you turn on the water at 12:16 or 7:16 a.m. and then you at south 1, and then 3 candles get lit across northeast 2 and 3, northeast 2 and northeast 3, right, in a row, like in a straight row, so that it's in through the 3 sectors. Now this, and then you go to west 3 and you light 1 candle, okay? And then you go back to south 1 and face northeast 3, which is the tiger, and do your prayer, or your, if you know how to do manifestation mantras, do a manifestation mantra, or just meditate. Meditate on what you need to let go of, who you need to forgive, clarity on the steps you need to move forward. Like it's just it's just an excellent time to tune into the energy of that time, to get clarity on what's blocking you and what you need to do to move forward, okay? Then I have a simpler one for November 27th. Now I'll put this in the newsletter that'll go out this week. Okay, so you'll not to worry, okay? November 27th, 11:28 a.m., good for long-term boosting here. And this is a water activation, and this is just in south 1. And then at the same time, you met water. So water, big thing. Oh, the water also, by the way, only needs to be there no longer than a day, right? This is just for 2 hours to a day. It's like acupuncture. So in November 27th, 11:28, again, long-term boosting energies, but long-term changes, long-term positivity. Start the water in south 1, and then turn and face the tiger at northeast 3. Why are you not succeeding? What do you need to learn? What is stopping you from success? What are your fears? Why are you not breaking through? So do you see that the activations this month are more about doing the inner work in certain palaces to get you to the outer work? All right. So we've got 3 months left. Please sign up for the newsletter, because that's where you'll get your monthly tips and different things in. Okay, so you don't become what you want, you become what you believe, right? You don't become what you want, you become what you believe. So the time in the next 3 months is to learn to watch your thoughts, and then to not, it is possible to control your thoughts in the sense, not in the sense that you can stop them from coming. They're still going to come, but you don't have to get hooked by them. You can go, oh, there's that thought again, and have a mantra even, I choose peace, right? Like, so our brains, our neural pathways tend to bring up loops of things. There's loops, there's all kinds of science and research into this, right? And I talk about this often in my different things, like our childhood, our DNA, so our past lives, like the world is filled with all these thoughts, but you don't have to get hooked. So learning how to be the observer is the big step here, right? And looking at your beliefs, right? Do you believe that there's enough money in the world for everybody? Do you believe in miracles? I believe in miracles. I see them all the time. I believe in miracles. I believe in love, right? I believe in those things. Sometimes I have to remind myself, right? But I believe in them. So, full moon meditation. Okay, actually, a couple things coming up. Design Your Destiny 2.0. So this is a 3-hour workshop happening on November 13th. And this is actually an important workshop where I'm going to go more into depth what I talk about today, and there'll be slides, so yay. And it'll be on Zoom, and I'm going to share with you what needs to be done a little bit more in depth for each sign and predictions for next year. This is not the full workshops and whatnot, but really it's about what can be done the next 3 months to really get ready, and what can we look forward to, right? How can we work with these energies? Then on December 19th, full moon meditation, okay? So that is 6:30. These are all on Zoom. They will get recorded. You can have a couple weeks to watch them afterwards, right? So yes, December 19th, full moon meditation. Sign up for that, because that will be an hour and a half of some instructions again on how to work with the moon energy, and then the beautiful meditation between Yuko and I, taking you into releasing stuck energies in your body. Then December 3rd is the advanced student Feng Shui and annual astrology class. So this class is only for students, December 3rd, who have taken the practitioner course with me, okay? And I'm doing this particularly because I'm going to speak in Feng Shui Speak there, right? Whereas the workshop in January 22nd will be for the general public, right? Because I have to speak in simpler language. And I know even here, some of the language, I'm trying to keep it simple, but I know for some of you, you get it, and some of you are practitioners, to leave you all with something. That's what's coming up right now. Yeah, November 19th is the full moon. And then, yeah, December 3rd, you guys will, especially the advanced practitioners, I'm excited to offer that to you. That'll be coming up, and so that's where I'm at. And then the rest is consultations. November 19th is the moon. Yeah, November 19th is the full moon meditation. And yeah, and anyways, you'll get the newsletter this week, which will have all the dates in it accurately presented. So I want to leave you now with this. You don't become what you want, you become what you believe. Okay? We are entering into the months of water. Water will be high, meaning fear, right? Water is very strong. The fire is weak. Fire kind of represents happiness. And so we have to go to the fire inside ourselves to find relief, right? Do not resist, right? You can't resist winter. It's there. Look at it. Be curious. One of my favorite words, be curious. Learn from it. That's how you will transform. Be the change. Love and light to all. Thank you for spending your time here with me. I know there's a bit of a delay, so I'm just going to wait and see. Thank you all for sharing your time with me and being here. It is truly my privilege.